I didn't sign any clients. I had no direction at all. Genuinely had no clue what I was doing with my content. I was just posting for the sake of posting. So I saw it as, fuck, I got burnt. I lost this amount of money. I lost trust in the online space. But if it wasn't for this fact that I got burnt, I wouldn't know what a good mentor is.
We can tell from the last 3 months that we're working together, you didn't actually gain any followers.
I actually lost followers. Views do not mean clients. That's the biggest thing I realized.
And how much did you say you made in April, was it?
Like I said, 4K total for the month, and June, 25K, past 30 days, 41K.
I remember when we started, you were looking up to someone. You said this guy was your mentor. This was someone that you looked up to. And now you fucking scaled past them.
That's what I'm saying.
How does it feel, bro? You've collected over $90,000 in the last 3 months.
Like, I really thought about how to answer this question, but
in this video, I'm going to be talking to one of my clients, Tone, who's an online fitness coach that came to me a few months ago, completely stuck and unable to scale, but he had 19,000 followers. He basically was just posting thirst traps and dealing with unqualified leads and really had no real direction, sitting at 4K a month before working together. Fast forward to today, we've completely stripped down his business and re-engineered his content and his sales team, and he's managed to collect over $41,000 in just the last 30 days. That's cash collected, not revenue. Within the last 3 months, nearly $100,000 cash. If you guys are here because you guys are struggling with the same thing, this isn't just a hype video. We are literally breaking down every single SOP, every single framework, every single content system that we used to 10 times this business, just so you guys can implement it for yourself. All right, let's get right into it. What's up, Tom?
how's it going, man? How's it going, Matt?
All right. It's going really, really good, especially what you have done in the last 30 days, bro.
It has been really good.
Introduce yourself, bro. Where are you from? How old are you?
So I'm from Sydney, Australia, 21 years old.
21 years old.
Yes.
Nice. We're 2005, right? We're born in the same month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you been doing online fitness coaching for, bro?
So I've been online fitness. I officially launched my online fitness coaching business a year ago, but I started posting content around a year and a half ago now.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were doing what exactly? Like posting thirst traps and shit for the first 5-6 months?
Pretty much, yeah. Just thirst traps, just chucking shit up on a wall and see what sticks, bro.
Give us a little bit more. I know you went to university. You know, you started fitness coaching only a year ago. What were you doing before? How exactly did you get into this place?
So, start of 2025, I was in the 3rd year of my engineering degree, but I absolutely fucking hated it. And I decided to make a switch, and I knew I wanted to do something that I was actually passionate in and something that I could actually see a future in as well. And to really just like do what I wanted to do rather than just to do what my parents wanted me to do. And why fitness coaching? Well, I'm good at a lot of things, but I would say fitness coaching is probably the thing I'm the best at. And not fitness coaching, but like just fitness in general. I've always had a background when it comes to sports. I played basketball growing up, and my parents made me quit basketball because I had to focus on studies. So I got into the gym. And then the gym, like I said, I was always pretty good at it. I kind of knew what I was doing at a very young age. And I was just like, why not? Why can't I help people doing this? I see so many people online doing my dream. So I was like, why not? Let's get started.
I mean, you told me, what sports did you play?
Basketball.
And then you got injured, right?
I got injured, and then my parents made me quit.
I mean, to be honest with you, like it's kind of like a recurring thing inside this space where I think people who do sports, they usually do a lot better. I feel like the main guys in the space right now, the ones that do well, are the ones who are, you know, sporty. They played some sort of sports. Like I'm a fighter as much as, you know, as little as I actually do it. I'm actually a fighter. I do jiu-jitsu and shit, and I feel like that drives me. So you got into doing basketball, you went to engineering. Is there anything else that you did before actually online fitness coaching? I mean, you said you posted out content. What exactly were you doing with the content? Like, was it just to start a personal brand, become an influencer? What was it? So
initially, the reason why I decided content in the first place, or just posting in general in the first place, is because I wanted to like really step out of my comfort zone. Because despite how I look online, despite how I present myself currently, I've always been someone who's like really introverted, someone who doesn't like to share like their feelings and emotions. And a lot of people around me, even my friends, say, does this guy even have emotions at that point? because I was just really introverted. But I could have kept things to myself. So I was thinking, what was the hardest thing for me to do so I can see the most amount of growth? And keep in mind, my main Instagram, no profile picture, no posts, no stories, never done anything on it. So I was that like really low key guy. And I chose content because it was just the thing that was the most out of reach, the hardest thing possible. Because I knew every single time in life when you get too comfortable, you do the thing that's the most uncomfortable, and that's what causes the most growth.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think we're kind of the same. I have the private account as well, and I don't post anything. I don't think I've posted there in the last like 3 years, which is kind of funny. You're from Sydney, you're Asian, obviously growing up in a Chinese household. Did you ever get any backlash for posting our content? You know, because Asian families, like Asian communities, usually have tall poppy syndrome.
I would say no, they're actually quite supportive because they think it's really cool how it can help people and inspire people. So I never really got that, at least with my family. They're all really quite supportive. It's because they think I'm still in university, but that's the reason why.
Anyways, let's move on, you know, to give some context about you. Let's talk about the business transformation. I mean, we've been working with each other for about 3-4 months now. And obviously there's lots of big changes that's happened in the last 3-4 months, not even just the business perspective, but you as a person as well. I remember when we first came, you used to like speak over me a lot.
That's what I do on wall, but yeah, we'll go with that.
Can you bring us through the actual business transformation? What exactly changed? You know, obviously talking about your record months and your previous track records. How has the business transformed since working together?
So let's start off on a high. Past 30 days, 41K cash collected. And
Insane.
Yeah, it's genuinely surreal. Insane. Genuinely never thought this day would ever happen. So in May, before I joined Matt, I made 4,000 total collected, signed 0 clients, got absolutely nothing. And from that point onwards, in the first month, in the first 15 days, not even the first month, in the first 15 days since we started booking in calls, jumping on sales, all that good stuff, generated 20K. And then the month after that, 25K. And then the past 30 days, 41K.
Wow. And how much did you say you made in April, was it?
4K, sorry, it's March, April. No, in April I made 4K, March, 20K, and then June, 25K, July, past 30 days, 41K.
I think you mix it up. April is after March, buddy.
I thought we started with April. No, I thought we started at May. So in April, like I said, 4K total for the month, and I didn't sign any clients. I had no direction at all. Genuinely had no clue what I was doing with my content. Since April, I was been posting for like a year and a bit, but I still felt equally as lost when it came to content. I was just posting for the sake of posting. Never really understood anything when it came to my audience or any of the sorts. And in the past few months, you helped me a lot when it comes to understanding exactly who I'm posting for, what content does, and what the purpose, how the business model actually runs when it comes to building something sustainable long term.
Yeah, that's good, man. I mean, obviously you, not just as a business, has changed so much, but you personally you yourself has changed. You know, I see in front of me, especially since we literally get on like a few calls a week. So April, you made 4,000 cash collected.
Yep.
And then you did May, you did 20K.
22K.
And then 22K. And then in June,
25K.
You did 25. Then July, you did 41.
Correct.
Right, that's insane. Bro did like, especially from 4K, bro. You did 5 times, then you did another like 6 times, and then
10 times.
10 times. Like you just hit record months after record months after record months.
The ROI is insane.
Like, you know how insane that is, bro. You didn't like, usually what most things that, you know, most businesses, what happens is they have one good month and then next kind of month they fall off, right?
Yeah.
Right. I remember you telling me inside the actual first sales call that we have, the actual closing call. You told me that you wanted a business that consistently made a certain amount of money, right?
I remember
and from the first month, you got that.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And do you think it was also kind of like a mindset change?
I would say 100%. Like when I first joined you, during our first call, I think that was the lowest I've ever been when it came to most things. Just whether it's which direction I wanted to head in, if I wanted to even stay in this online space anymore, if I even thought this was sustainable long term. Because obviously I dropped out. This is kind of my plan B, don't fail plan A, right? But
Yeah.
since joining, like the mindset of actually believing in myself and really making this work as like a non-negotiable really just helped me see like different things in a different perspective. And I feel like although it's been thrown around a lot, that different perspective actually makes the biggest difference. Whether it's actually filming the content, whether it's jumping on the sales calls, whether it's just working on back ends, just that mindset alone keeps you going forward.
100%, bro. And you yourself, bro, like, I think out of the few clients, you're probably the one that got everything, all the shit done in the very, very beginning.
I'm that guy.
Right? No, but like, seriously, I remember, bro, like VSL, I mean, you didn't have any sales assets beforehand, right? We'll get onto that later, but everything that we've done in terms of the closing modules, in terms of going on closing role plays and the setter and everything, bro, we did that shit within the first 2 weeks. That's what you saw. You saw like
Immediate.
the wins so early on, like literally immediate. It couldn't be like
Couldn't be any faster.
faster. Genuinely, it couldn't be.
It's like you get in what you put out.
Exactly, 100%. I think that's what most people forget, right? But I want to go back to obviously before working with me, you talked about how you felt like you wanted to leave this space. And I'm sure that since you dropped out, especially with being in an Asian family, right, there's definitely a lot of pressure. I kind of want to talk to, make you elaborate a little bit more on that, just so I feel like there's a lot of people out there who suffered the same thing. Because I feel like I suffered the same thing as well, in between this online space, whether I think it's for me or not, if I'm being completely transparent. Did you invest in another mentor before me? You did, right?
Yeah, I did. I invested with this Miami guy who scales fitness coaches.
Another Miami guy. But
Miami guy.
when did you invest in him?
I invested in him November 2025.
November 2025.
Correct.
Oh, that's quite recent.
Quite recent, yeah.
I didn't know it was that recent, bro. I thought it was like mid last year.
No.
But what exactly is the major difference of working with them and working with me, would you say? My name is Matt. I run Nova, a B2B agency. We help businesses convert their audience through the reverse close method. We specialize in sales systems and profile funnel optimization. Today, you're watching a video of a breakdown of one of my clients that 10 times their business in just 3 months. We've also worked with a portfolio of clients that scaled to 6-figure months from just 15K, some under 6 months. You're probably watching this video because you haven't scaled your business in the last few months and you don't know where the bottleneck lies. So if you want my team to implement our multi-million-dollar systems into your business directly, feel free to book in a consulting call with me. I'll do a full audit of your whole sales funnel, your sales team performance, and your personal brand to figure out where the bottleneck lies. We've had clients do 10K days after our first call, so make sure you book in the link below. All right, back to the video.
So for them, they genuinely barely spoke with the guy. I think I spoke to that guy maybe twice, maybe 3 times. If I shoot him a message, 3-day response game, maybe 3-day response game, and he'll be posting on his stories about fulfillment, but that's a little bit ironic, eh? And the biggest difference with you is, on a serious note, I felt like you genuinely gave a fuck. Like every single time when we did get a client or when something goes well, like you genuinely cared for us. That's what I've noticed was the biggest difference. It's not just another client win. It's not just another story. Because I felt like with the Miami guy, every single time he would just force me to send client wins, and then he would say, "Good shit, bro," post on story, and then fucks off. That's all he did.
Yeah.
But I feel like you actually gave a fuck.
Yeah, one of the major things I remember working together was because I was logged inside your DMs as well, right? I remember I called you to wake you up just so you could get the pip.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Oh my goodness,
bro. That was insane. It was 3 a.m. for me, by the way.
It's 3 a.m. for you. I called you just to make sure that, because the guy sent the payment link, bro.
And the most crazy part was every single night, usually, I put my phone on sleep, right? I don't want to get disturbed. I want to get my sleep in. That was the one night I didn't put it on sleep. I was like, some guy kept calling me, ring. Bro did not give up. I was like, nah, sack. Whoever the fuck this guy is, sack. But then this guy kept going. I picked it up, and then I had to lock in. I was in like deep REM sleep, deep sleep.
Bro, sweet to lead, bro. I need some commission from that. Your setter was asleep as well.
Yeah,
that's the problem. In terms of like speaking about there's a lot of these kind of situations where people invest in mentors, and obviously they get quote unquote burnt I think it's very, very common these days, especially with how big the LARP is. No better word for it. But, inside these actual Miami guys, not even just Miami guys, it's a kind of like big influencers who make coaching business overall, right? They have like hundreds and hundreds of members. But like in all seriousness, what did you think of it, and how did you think it affected with how your business operated, or if it was a business at all?
So here's how I like to think about it when it comes to getting burnt. Like some people like to say, well, I'm never going to do this again, or some people like to go whatever, like how they like to think, right? But when it comes to experiences, I think there's no such thing as a good or bad experience, because so long as you learn from that experience, it's what drives growth, right? So I saw it as, fuck, I got burnt. I lost this amount of money. I lost trust in the online space. But if it wasn't for this fact that I got burnt, I wouldn't know what a good mentor is, or what a good coaching service like yourself is. Because if he weren't successful, really, if me and him worked out really well, I probably would have never met you, and I probably would have never gotten these results like this, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that was gonna be my next question. Obviously, most people have gotten burnt. I have gotten burnt multiple times. What makes you keep going? Like, especially like you said, you had so much going for you. You had, there's so much pressure for you to actually do something, right? And obviously with not being able to make as much money as you want to be making and getting burnt after you've invested, how much was it? Like around 5K?
6K USD.
Yeah, 6K. Yeah, okay. What exactly actually pushed you to go forward, to keep going, to still post out content, to still get on sales calls and, setters and all that stuff? What actually made you keep going?
So just like a lot of people say, plan B's don't fail plan A. And I like to put myself in positions where I have to succeed, or there's no other option. So the reason why I kept going despite not doing the best, whether it's mentally or in the business or whatever, it's just like I knew I had no other path to take. I've devoted every single thing, my 20s, I'm 21, devoted my entire 20-year-old, dropped out of uni, kind of stopped talking to all my friends as well. I don't talk to my group anymore. And this was the only thing I really put everything into. So, and I knew deep down I wasn't going to give up. I did say I wanted to give up, but I knew just me as a person, I'll never give up. And I'll keep trying until something works.
So you dropped your day ones, basically?
Not fully, but I just definitely stopped hanging out with them as much.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people, they don't like to put themselves on the line. I think putting your back against the wall is what pushes you forward.
100%.
Right? And that shows with you as well. I mean, you worked with this guy for a few months, and then a few months later, you started working with me.
Yeah, so the timeline goes November 2025, 2 months, barely talked to him. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. January, February, March. January, February, March, I actually did really good. Well, after I left him, by the way, But then April, boom, everything went to shit. Just nothing was working. And I would 100% say in those months I did good. It was definitely just luck. Because I had not a clue what I was doing inside my business, nor did I know what actually generated money for me. I was just, once again, throwing shit up at a wall, seeing what sticks, and then I would forget about what sticks.
I think that luck in itself and how you're able to have nothing going on, like in terms of systems, and still being able to, what was like 10K, 12K? 10, 12K a month. I think that just shows the amount of the opportunity that you have inside your business, right? Because bro, you didn't have anything. You didn't have any, like when we got onto the call, you didn't know how to close. You didn't have SOPs for setters. You didn't even have like sales assets that you were giving, and you were posting thirst traps every other day, right? Like, and you still were able to close 10, 12K a month, right? And that just shows the opportunity. Like, I remember you got onto the call and you were like, my leads are disqualified, blah, 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 blah. Actually, let's actually get onto that a little bit later, because then we can go more over on what changes we made and the few things that you had inside your closing call. But I want to go back to the point where we got connected and we actually got on to our first call. It wasn't a first call close, obviously. I don't really hard sell too much. But what was your kind of expectations getting on the call with me? Like, genuinely. Like even before us like texting each other or our second call or started working together, on our first call, when the first time we met, what were your expectations and what were your impressions of me? Would you say?
I'll be honest, with looking at your videos, I only watched it 20 minutes before the call, if I'm gonna be really honest. But in those 20 minutes before the call, I could kind of tell it was something I haven't really like seen before, at least for the people that I've watched online. You didn't actually seem like one of those Miami people or those guys who are kind of just like in a fat high rise, wearing some nice watch or like shirtless or whatever. And it looked like you just felt like a breath of fresh air in a sense. That's what I would say is the biggest difference, like breath of fresh air. It's like you don't have to show the view that you're sitting at. You don't have to show your apartment high rise or whatever every 2 minutes. And you kind of just like, when I actually jumped on the call, you just talk to me like almost like a normal human being. You talk to me like someone who actually cared and actually wanted to know about what was going on inside my business. Like you were asking questions that people don't usually ask me. You were asking about all the nitty gritty stuff.
I think it's like the systems that people usually don't think about. I remember you, like we got connected through a setter, which is a very, very funny reason why we got connected. But I remember like you didn't have any understanding of data, right?
No.
Like I don't know if that's something that your mentor didn't teach, or maybe you didn't listen in the group calls enough.
So for my first mentor, the Miami guy, he would have group calls, but he's US time zone, so it's quite hard for me to work with. It was like 6 a.m. for me. I did wake up for one of them, learned a little bit, not very much. But what he did tell me to do for tracking data, he didn't really tell me about that, but he would tell me 100 outbounds a day, 5 firsts a day. That was what he said.
Yeah, and how do you think that differs to the recommendations that I give you?
You didn't actually say much about outbounds or the amount of outbounds you need to do, but rather focusing on attracting quality people, because you really stressed about quality over quantity. And not only does it make setting easier for my setter, it also makes just closing easier because they're a lot more nurtured and they actually understand, they have a lot more trust in me, rather than 100%. Outbounding to random people who barely know me, jump on a call, waste an hour, and then,
Yeah, 100%, bro. I mean, we can even see that based off, like, we haven't even mentioned it yet, but your closing rate, right? Talk about your closing rate when we started working together.
I'm the goat. Oh, okay. When we started working together, I was at 10%, 20%.
And then the first month?
80%.
80%. And now it's like consistently, 60 to 80%?
60 to 80%, yeah.
60 to 80%. That's it's a crazy increase.
Yeah, and the more crazy thing is, sure, in the first month when we got 80%, it was mostly like small depots, right? Small depots, payment plans.
Yeah.
But recently, more than half of them are PIFs. In fact, I think more than 70% of them are PIFs, straight payment calls.
And the first thing I remember, even after a month in of you scaling to 22K, you still had limiting beliefs of increasing your prices.
I did.
And as soon as you increased your price, you just kept getting PIF over PIF and their AOV increased. So let's move to more of the business side of things. I do kind of want to talk about, I am breaking down the systems and I'm basically going to break down exactly what we did for you. But first, my first question is, I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but I do want you to get into more detail about it. How has the business changed since you started working with me? What were the major differences? What exactly brought it to where it's at today?
So the main part where the business changed is definitely like structure. Like everything was there for a reason. Whether it was the VSL that you actually helped us make, whether it's the drafting of the script, whether it's the editing, and helping out with the clips, just everything in general. You were there helping us throughout the whole way. You didn't just tell us to fuck off and do it ourselves. You actually helped us. And that VSL or just every piece of content, just everything was posted for a reason. And we understood exactly what that reason was. And if it didn't work, cool, we changed to something else. And if that does work, we keep going with that thing. So it just genuinely felt like everything was like planned. It wasn't just guesswork anymore. That's the thing I feel like changed the most with my business. Like I knew if I did a certain type of thing, it would work, it would get me more clients. Simple as that.
Yeah. And obviously, in terms of your sales team and your sales, do you think that you were more confident now that if a lead came to your funnel, that you'd be able to close them?
Oh, 100%. Give me any qualified leads, I'll close anyone. 100%. 100. I can sell anything. It doesn't have to be fitness. I can sell anything.
Yeah.
Get me as a sales. Get me as a sales rep. I can sell anything.
That's good. I mean, you learned the right way of closing.
100%. 100%.
In terms of why exactly you feel more confident now, obviously other than posting intention, what else would you say builds up that confidence for you? Like in terms of the funnel stages, in terms of the pipelines, things that we changed that wasn't there before.
Yeah. So why it made me more confident? So like I said before, the VSL, we have the VSL that just nurtures the people after they book in. And after the VSL, setup would ask them some questions, whether it's like just reports or just asking them more questions before the call. That way they, once again, are more nurtured, and I could actually tell the difference when they jump on the call. Like when people actually watch the VSL, when people actually respond to the questions or like warm in the post-booking, the second I jump on the call, I feel like there's no resistance. I feel like I can straight away do what I need to do my discovery, run the sales, and it's just felt so much less friction. Because before, like when I jump on a call, I had a shitty little VSL that was like a Loom recording. I couldn't even sit through watching it myself, let alone some guy. And first of all, I knew for a fact they didn't watch it. And if they did, maybe the first 30 seconds. And because of no post-booking, no shows were actually quite high as well. And when they did show up, there was it's completely hopeless, just completely unqualified. And
What's your show up rate now?
90%.
90%?
Yeah.
Nice. And that's a jump from how much?
60.
60. Okay. 60 is really bad. 60 is really bad.
Yeah.
And 90%, obviously you don't want to kind of go through other people's KPIs because you want to be doing better. And industry average is such a weird term to use because why would you want to be average? But 90% I'd say is a good range to be in. In terms of tracking, in terms of like being able to guide your sales team, is this something that you had before or is that something that we started implementing?
Okay. So I'll definitely say tracking some KPIs, just understanding exactly what's happening. So let's say if you had a rough week, then if we look at, okay, how many calls do we have this week? How many outbounds did we do this week? How many posts did we do this week? How many story sequences did we do this week? After we get all those numbers and we understand exactly what's going on there, we have a much better picture as to why things aren't going well or why things are going well. Before, with my old setup, I would do EODs, like he would kind of roughly track these things, but it was kind of just like a little bit loose. And on that same topic, not the sales thing, but the setup manager and also placing the setter has been one of the biggest changes ever, without a doubt in my mind. So before, I'm sure all you guys online, doesn't matter what coach you are, the only requests, the only inbounds we get are, hey, I'm a setter looking to blah, 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 blah. I'm sure we all get that. I'm sure we all know what that feels like. And I'm sure some of us have taken a couple chances with them, and for them, they probably, when they join the business, you don't even know if they do anything, and when they actually start working, they're completely useless, and you feel like you're using more time to manage them than they should be saving you, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. And you kind of get into the cycle of changing new setters, but in that process of changing new setters, you don't even understand who you actually are. You don't have any SOPs built out. They don't actually know what your brand is. So no matter how many setters you change, they can't actually learn what your business model is or what you're trying to do. But the thing with you is when you place the setter, you also place the setter manager into there as well. And the setter manager kind of just took a lot of that like initial time of training the setter completely out of the equation. And I could just focus on my content and building up all the things you wanted me to build up for the content side, for everything. And it just made the whole process, like I said, so much smoother. And I could actually focus on growing the business rather than just me working on back-end stuff, which I think every business owner should do, or running their own coaching business should do.
Yeah, 100%. I think people always focus, kind of don't understand how important understanding an SOP for a setter is. Because so many people, like I'm sure you struggle with this as well because we were talking about it before, but you always hired setters and you always blame the person, saying that he was lazy or he didn't do well enough. But most of the time, bro, it's a lot of you don't understand how to manage and how to kind of direct the player, the actual sales team in itself. Because let's be honest, if you had an A player inside your team, why would they be working with you?
100%.
Right? If you genuinely had an A player inside your team, why wouldn't they be doing something else? Right? And most of the time, those people chart. So you can never just randomly get an A player. Same thing for setters not being able just to get the business that's doing 400K a month, right? And what you need to be able to do is identify who's actually working hard and have direction for them to bring a B player into an A player, right? Which you kind of done with your setter as well. You know, you guys are very tight knit. You guys actually, like working together, and that chemistry and that relationship that you've built for the setter to be as part and as one as your actual company, right? To feel included inside the business. That's what keeps driving him to work harder every day, right?
100%.
Because let's be honest, it's like it's not just me, right? It's not just me or you who scaled the business. It's your setter, right?
100%.
He scaled your business from $0 to all the way to 41K.
100%. Like without him, doesn't matter how good I am at sales, doesn't matter how good anything is. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. I genuinely would not be here anywhere close to here today. So yeah, 100%.
100%. It's insane because most people just think of treat setters like they're slaves.
Exactly.
Abundant amount of setters in the world, and they just don't treat them right. And especially in the fitness coaching space, I've been in the fitness coaching space, helping for a very long time, right? Most of the time, fitness coaches are cunts to their setters, genuinely. Like, it's ridiculous. And obviously me starting off as a setter, I understand what it's like to get paid so little, and your offer holder is a cunt and doesn't want to listen to you. That's probably the worst, right?
That's another thing. Like, sorry, to go on to your topic, you taught us the importance of talking with your team. Like before, the set I would just tell him, hey, do this, do that. I'm not treating him like a slave. I'm a pretty nice guy, if I say so myself. But there wasn't much communication. And also, I didn't make the setter's job any easier. Me posting out garbage content or just things that doesn't attract proper qualified leads just doesn't help the setter at all. Makes his job harder and harder. And initially, us as business owners, we think, or us as offer holders, would blame, the setter's not hitting his KPIs, the setter's not doing this, not doing that. But just imagine yourself in their position. How can you expect them to find people that are qualified when your content just reaches unqualified people? It's not possible. So you really taught us the importance of like talking with your sales team and working together, like genuinely working together as a team, not as individuals, me content, you set, it's us together. When it's content, he tells me, okay, what is performing well? What reels should I rip more of? What type of style, what type of format is good? And then my job is to listen to his advice and keep going with that. And then if something doesn't work, he tells me why it doesn't work, we analyze why it doesn't work, and then we scrap that idea, we try something new. Yeah,
exactly. And I think, with the people that tell you to like book more calls and, do more outbounds, right? It's just putting a plaster on a broken leg.
100%.
Right? It doesn't really solve anything. Like you were talking about before, I mean, you have a perfect case of this where your setter told you to do a certain type of video and it actually made you a lot of money.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
We talked about this with the short form and the style, that actually was a big needle mover in terms of getting the qualified leads and getting the pips that you need, right? It's super, super important, especially, let's move on and actually start talking about content since we started already. What exactly would you say is a major difference about what you were doing before with content compared to what you're doing now?
Okay. So before in content, I was just like a lot of guys, copy the guys who are the biggest in the niche, right? Which is competitor research or just trying to do something that works for them. But then when you try it for yourself, you realize it doesn't actually produce as good results. Sometimes it does get results, but most of the times you're wondering why he gets 2 million views, you get 2K views. And the thing that really changed for the content side of things is understanding your specific ICP. Because when you're copying these big fitness guys, they might not necessarily be targeting the same people as you. So you trying to do something that they're already really good at is not doing yourself any favors. You got to find your own unique angle. And I know it's quite overused, but becoming the niche in a sense and really focusing on what type of people that you want to help and what type of content and what your personality can really bring out in some people. That's what I would say. biggest difference when it comes to thinking about content before versus now. Like I said before, I was just trying whatever that works, whatever got me views. That's the thing. Views do not mean clients. That's the biggest thing I realized.
You had a video that did 180K views, the steps one, right?
It's not the steps one, but yeah.
Was it not the, no, you had one with the steps, the one with the caption.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Did that make you any money? No, exactly. Most coaches think that a content strategy is posting 3 reels a day and praying that the algorithm saves you. That's not a strategy, that's just gambling. A real content strategy is about understanding that every single video has a reason. It has a direct purpose. You post videos to build trust. You post videos to get a lot more views and engagement, a bigger audience. Every single video has a reason why it's there. It has a specific job. You stop thinking about going viral. You stop thinking about getting 100,000 views. Instead, you focus on speaking directly and having the messaging directly to that one person that you want to be able to sell to. Someone that you can relate to, someone that generally feels motivated to take action based off watching your video. You know, if a content strategy is getting you 100,000 views but $0, then it's completely failed. So let's actually take a look at what we did for Tone within the first few weeks working together. From the first week, what we did was we got a VSL. If you don't know what a VSL is, that's a video sales letter. I talked about it a little bit more inside one of my other videos, and you can go watch that if you want to, but we have a VSL. We made that in the first week. We also figured out what type of post-booking video he wants during the post-booking process, like I was mentioning beforehand. Then we focused on having the long-form client testimonials, which means YouTube long forms. After the VSL, we had another one specifically to show, a client testimonial, social proof, also show kind of the connection that Tone has with his clients, something that you can't really show with a minute video. Instead, you can kind of see it based off an interview like you see today. And on top of that, we also doubled down on the different formats that we were doing inside his short form. We usually have 5 different specific short forms that we build out within the first few weeks. We do some sort of market research story sequence to help out with this. Then we have a My Story video, a client testimonial video. Then we have clips from the actual VSL and the client testimonial video in itself. We specifically dialed in touch points more than anything inside this actual process. Reason why is because we wanted to make sure that the touch points of the leads in every single point, whether it's YouTube, whether it's a new short form or a story sequence, the messaging reflected what we were doing and the people that we want to be speaking to. The messaging was very direct and very, very personal. And how we did that was figuring out 2 main specific things that we focused on and made sure every single video touched upon, which obviously the dream outcome is being ripped and eating whatever you want. So if you take a look at Tone's account, it's a lot about, going and eating ramen or being able to lose weight and not having a structured diet. This is something that we realized was our unique mechanism that we doubled down on to make sure that everybody that's watching this video is like, okay, I struggle with that same thing. Our ICP of 28-year-old Asian guy would probably struggle with the same thing if they're still living with their parents, right? Chinese families, they eat a lot of Chinese food, which is relatively unhealthy. And we realized this together and we doubled down on that one unique angle. We even jotted down problems being shy, inconsistent, or things that actually made Tone relatable, whether that's to do with anime, whether that's to do with the job that he had, or the things that he likes and how he presented himself. These are a few things that we use as outliers inside his piece of content. So every single content piece is a touch point for the lead. And that slowly built up his qualified funnel, which brought better engagement and warmed the actual current leads in the pipeline that we thought were disqualified. They ended up becoming qualified. And obviously we got referrals and we got people who saw the pieces of content from the client testimonial who got warmed up through the setter conversation, and then boom, we increase the closing rate, we increase the booking rate, and we do suddenly have so many qualified leads, even though as an aggregate amount of following within the 3-4 months working together, he actually lost 300 followers. He lost 300 followers, but 10 times his business. It's just showing that, followers don't mean anything. The amount of people that you have inside your funnel doesn't mean anything. As long as you have those few people that you are speaking to directly instead of going viral every single time, that's what makes money. That's what sells. It's not selling to everybody because because you'll sell to nobody. It's about selling to the direct person that you want to be speaking to. And from there, becoming a master inside that one niche. And that's what content strategy is. And I remember the first limiting belief that you had was like, bro, I'm not getting any views. We were maximizing and trying to get views. Even with the YouTube video, when you posted out the VSL, it's like, oh my God, it flopped, right?
It did pretty good at the end though.
At the end,
it picked up,
I mean, for your first video, it did pick up. But yeah, I mean, talking about content and obviously following, like you said, bringing up ICP, right? Obviously, we can tell from the last 3 months that we're working together, you didn't actually gain any followers.
I actually lost followers.
You actually lost followers.
Yeah, I was originally on 19,000 and then I think now I'm about to drop down to 18.8.
18.8. So you've lost around 200 in total. But why do you think that is? You know, if people are watching this and realizing, holy shit, why is he losing followers while working with me? What exactly changed and what would you say is, you know, what's happening? Especially how you shifted out the content.
Yeah, so the best way I like to put it is, look, I'm a fitness guy. I did a lot of thirst traps. That's where I gained most of my followers from. A lot of Southeast Asians, lots of disqualified people, so to say. And
lots of gay people.
Yeah, lots of gay people. And look, if all they see from me is just me posting thirst traps, naturally they want to follow me because that's what they like to see, right? Touche. That's what I'll do as well. If I like someone's content, if I like what he posts, doesn't matter what it is, if I like it, I'll follow him. Simple as that. But then if we think about it in this way, let's say you swap up the content style and you actually start focusing on the things that speaks to the people you want to help. What happens is those people who originally followed you for XYZ, or for me, thirst traps, or me taking my shirt off, or whatever it is, naturally they're like, okay, what the fuck is going on? I don't want to see this. I don't care about this. I don't care about fitness, whatever it is. And naturally they just unfollow. Yeah. That's why 100%. Followers have gone down. But
yeah. If I tried explaining that to you a few months ago, bro, you'd crash out.
Yeah.
You see how not even for a part of the video, bro, and just in the last 40 minutes of you explaining exactly what changed, bro. Don't you think you've learned so much?
100%, bro. That's why.
Bro, it's like you B2B, actually understand. Now you're B2B. Like, bro understands like everything to do with business now, even with KPIs and the statistics, bro.
But in my group calls, first of all, I was fucking pumping them about ICP, dream follower. I was pumping them
crazy.
about that.
It's genuinely crazy to see, bro. What would you say the way that you've been doing the content? Do you think it's affected the sales process in itself?
100%.
Like, would you say that?
Yeah. Because let's say before, when they did follow me, when I did provide some value content, this was like, because when I did thirst trap, I would also put in value. I didn't only thirst trap, okay? I did provide some value as well. Those people, after seeing the up in production quality, up in just me challenging their perspective when it comes to their mindset or a unique angle or stuff in my brand that I push out that is unique from others, they are more nurtured. And people who I've had people who joined the program in the past 4 months of us working together. They were people who've been following me for years. For like a year since I started posting. But I've never really ever outbounded to them, nor did I actually know them. But then in the recent reels that's been popping up, they realized, oh, okay, this guy, he was skinny fat. He found that skinny fat video was really helpful. And then boom, outbound, sales process, sale, piff. Bang.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, bro, like one of your biggest problems, like if you remember, what was your biggest problem that you came to me with? Like what was your major issue and the reason why we got onto our consulting call?
Not having qualified leads.
Exactly. Not having qualified leads or enough leads that are qualified inside your 20K followers, right? Yes, and I told you that it's not true, right? Mm-hmm. And like 20K followers, it's impossible. You can't sell more than 5 every single month. Right? Yep. No matter how many gay people that you get, and you know how many people, there's going to be a lot of people who needs that extra push, and that's the reason why we have middle of funnel videos that you've been posting out, specific ICP videos, and obviously having the setter outbound and doing more polls inside your story, bro. I remember how difficult it was having you build up the story sequences inside your stories.
That was a mission, bro. That was a mission. That was like one of the biggest projects I've done in my life.
Do you think it helped a lot in terms of nurturing the people, would you say?
I would say, yeah, getting used to, on that topic of story. So me and my setter, we decided, he actually told me, hey, let's try out some videos on stories where you just like talk about a topic, whether it's motivational, whether it's about how like steps changed my life. Just not a full reel format, just me talking, one take to just super like raw, super raw format because there's no captions, no nothing. And we realized that that actually helped. That helped with building trust. That helped with like, we found some leads that kind of never really saw it before. So these stories and getting used to posting more stories, but not just posting whatever, posting stuff that is in a sense a little bit more calculated definitely helps. Definitely.
I mean, in terms of let's wrap up the content side of things. If someone's watching this right now and they're like, okay, I am currently in Tone's first position, making 0 sometimes, 4 sometimes, and then 10K sometimes. What exactly do they need to change about their content? What do they need to implement in order to get them to the position that you are currently?
Yep. So
what would you say?
The number one step is understanding exactly who you want to help. Not what makes you the most money, but actually understanding exactly who you want to help. And then after you get that plan laid out, then you think about, okay, will this actually work? So for example, I'm fitness niche. I help people lose fat, get a six pack, or gain muscle, be confident with themselves, right? And I thought about it, well, when I first started, I was just thinking, posting whatever, try to help everyone. But then what happened was I got a lot of kids. I got a lot of really high school kids, and that just wasn't really someone that I could really help. And in a sense, I wouldn't mind helping them, but it's just that it wasn't possible for this business model. So then I thought about what's next. And then I really thought about, the best thing you can think about is yourself. Think about where you were before. Even if you're young, what did you go through before? So for me, I had an eating disorder because I was eating super strict foods. And I was thinking, okay, how can this relate to people who are a little bit older? So then I got to thinking, and then some of my clients from before, they were people who have been in the gym for longer than I have, but then still never really figured out the food side of things and never understood how you could stay in shape without a meal plan. And then I was just like, okay, this is definitely my type of angle. And I just really went through with that. But I'm still helping the guys I want to help. I'm not completely changing and I'm not forcing myself to speak with my clients. I still have fun speaking to my clients. There are still people I relate to and still people I have a laugh on the calls with. So that's my biggest advice. Don't just simply think about, oh yeah, I'm gonna help 9 to 5s, I'm gonna help 9 to 5s, I'm gonna help 9 to 5s. If you do that way, first of all, you have no idea how to make your style of content. You're forcing yourself to do something you don't like. And quite honestly, people can tell in your videos. People can 100% tell in your videos.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like that saying, right? Master one solution to a single problem, right? Master the solution to a single problem. Other than that, what else would you say in terms of what helped you out the most? It could be about anything to do with content. No, I'm saying like a system that you could give to, advice that you could give, whether it's long forms, whether it's
gatekeeper. I don't want them to succeed. I want to gatekeep.
Yeah, what would you say other than the actual, positioning and figuring out where your niche is? What other things could people, to scale? What other content techniques or certain things that they have to focus on? What would it be? Whether it's long form, whether it's the scripting, whether it's understanding how to do research. What would you say is the 2 biggest levers other than figuring out who you're speaking to, who you're messaging to?
So I'll definitely say we always want to start from the beginning. And what is the beginning? Scripting. Or even before that, ideation or competitive research. Start with competitive research. See what guys who are in similar niches to you, see what they're doing, see what works well for them, see who their ICPs are, and then you could take things out from them. You don't have to copy them word for word. You can copy their format, see how everything is, and try it out for yourself. And don't just give up at one try. Okay, that's one thing I realized. You can do things once. If it doesn't work, so what? Try it 5 times. If 5 times still doesn't work, then maybe you can move on to something else. But don't just let that one time be the reason why you completely stop this type of formats. Because it doesn't necessarily have to just be the format. It could just be your audience doesn't know, has never seen this before. They might not be accustomed to see this. Or it could be with your scripting, or it could be your hook. That also goes into my next one, scripting. Really understanding what the purpose of your script is for. Don't just say whatever's on your mind, but say it in the way that actually makes sense. What that means is, first things first, don't tell them straight away what you're talking about in the first few lines. Make it curious, make them curious, make it interesting, and make it something that even when you read, you don't honestly even know what direction you're heading in. That's what I think is a really good way to think about it. Like if I read line by line, cover it, I don't actually fully know what's going on in the next line. That's what I think is a really good way to script.
I think you giving advice on scripting is the biggest like change, the biggest like transformation in the whole of the last 4 months.
Are you being sarcastic?
It was bro, the transformation of like in teaching scripting and how we were scripting before. You've definitely come a long way, bro. But I agree. I think scripting and understanding copywriting is one of the biggest levers you could have inside content. Because even if you like don't get as many views as you can, or don't get as much engagement as you want, you will get a few people that they feel it. They can relate to that one specific video as much as you can. That's like the lever that I pulled. That's why I scaled to 30K a month using to 1,200 followers, right? So little followers, yet people are still buying in and piffing.
I beat my mentor. I'm on 40. That's what I'm saying.
30K is a B2C. Just you wait, buddy.
Yeah.
Just you wait. But would you say, is there anything else that kind of really helped you, do you think, take it to a whole new level? Something that you haven't mentioned yet? Is there anything else that you would say, we've talked about the content, we've talked about the sales systems, we talked about the sales reps, we talked about the closing. What else was a big lever that brought you to the next level, brought you to where you're at right now? You like basically 10 times your business, right? More than 10 times your business. And most people take years to do that. You did that in under a quarter, right?
Yep.
So other than what we talked about, is there anything else that you'd say was the biggest needle mover for you?
Lukewarm advice, but genuinely have conviction and genuinely believe in yourself. Like, I know it's a lot easier said than done, and it's hard for you to believe in yourself before you actually hit any goals. But as I kept going, especially the second I started with you, I had so much more conviction. I knew for myself I was gonna make this work. And just that little switch, whether it became just me dedicating more of my time into doing something, or me spending a lot more effort in doing something, that conviction and that belief in myself really, really pushed me over the edge. That's what I would say is one of the, it's not exactly an SOP, I can't really SOP a conviction, but it's definitely something that's like any other coaches out there. I'm sure you guys tell your clients the exact same thing. Have confidence, believe in yourself. But then we realize that the people, we don't actually believe in ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves that we can make our business scale, make our business into something that actually means something. Yeah.
I mean, a business that's a real business. It's not just, like an 18-year-old suddenly decides to build in 4 hours, right? I think most coaches built their businesses like that. No SOPs, no systems, no nothing. I remember when I was a growth op, some people are selling 5K packages for just one-on-ones weekly. No modules, no communities, right? I mean, obviously with you, there's a few things that we started implementing that you didn't believe in. I don't know why, but it worked, right? From the milestones and the awards for, the group chats and the group calls, and you moving into B2B and you starting to do long form, right? There's so many things I feel like people don't really focus on, but once they start doing it and they at least test it out, because worst case scenario, it doesn't work, right? They move on to the next. But best case scenario, this can be the thing that brings you to 10 times your business, right? And that's what you did. If you had to think of something to say to the old version of yourself, the person that was making 4K a month, burnt by another mentor 3 months ago, especially people, trust me, there's a lot of people who kind of can relate to that, right? If you had to say something, a lesson or anything, what would be a message that you give to them?
I would say, try to think back to the day when you actually decided to do what you wanted to do. So for me, was the day I decided to drop out and go all in on this. Remember how you felt that day and carry that emotion into every single task you do. Because I'm sure motivation goes like this, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I know a lot of people say, always think about the version of yourself 3 years down the line. And I agree with that. But it was at that point on that day when I decided to drop out of university and do what I do. That's the day when I had the most belief in myself. I was delusional. Be delusionally confident in yourself. Because look, doesn't matter what mentor it is, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what family, partner or whatever it is, The only person who actually believes in yourself is just you. It's sad, but it's true. And if you don't believe in yourself, doesn't matter who else does, it won't make a difference.
How does it feel, bro? You've collected over $90,000 in the last 3 months from working as a blue collar, from wanting to quit the online space and then suddenly hitting 90K, doing 41K in a single month as a 21-year-old, right? Collecting over 90K cash, not rev, cash.
Yeah, cash collected,
right? Cash, we're not LARPers. This is fully 90K cash, 41K cash
metric.
in a month.
Exactly.
Yeah, and probably like 100 something K rev, right? How does it feel, bro?
Like, I really thought about how to answer this question, but I genuinely couldn't put it to words because I genuinely 10x'd from my worst month to my best month. And look, I'm someone who I don't really like, when it comes to the money side of things, I'm more so invested in the growth of myself. That's the most important part. I like to see myself grow, and I like to see myself when I put in the work, it becomes something that I can actually see. That's why I'm doing this. And another way to say how I feel is just, I mean, it's pretty simple. I feel fucking amazing, right? Like,
yeah.
I want to keep doing this, keep trying to grow my business more and more, and eventually just really want to do things that I want to do. So for example, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to travel with 2 other fitness guys. The reason why? Because I fucking can. I can work from wherever I want. I can still make the money. Yeah. And soon I really want to I'm taking my parents out to dinner, to a really nice dinner, and also taking them out for a holiday. Would love to do that as well. So in a sense, yeah, more money is cool. You can buy some nice stuff, but yeah, it's surreal. It's actually surreal.
Bruh, I'm proud as fuck for you, bro. I mean, not of for you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I don't know why that was so difficult to say.
First time you ever said that to me.
I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you. And I think one of the biggest stories, just for a cherry on top, is I remember when we started, you were looking up to someone. You said this guy was your mentor. This was someone that you looked up to. And now you fucking scaled past them.
That's what I'm saying.
How crazy is that?
All within the span of...
That's genuinely insane.
3 months. 3-4 months, yeah. All within
3-4 months.
Insane.
Wow.
Like, holy shit. But I think, don't put this in, but I think I'm one of the leaders in the industry, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have to quit the recording, but I appreciate you getting on the call, bro. This has been, I think, the last 4 months, especially you being one of my first few clients, bro. It's genuinely a blessing, right? It's a blessing to you, but it's also a blessing to me, especially to me, being able to have a client that generally works hard. I think it's so rare these days because most people, like, as you know, we worked with a few guys that quit halfway, not because the fulfillment was shit, but because they just didn't want to do coaching anymore.
They didn't want it enough, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I appreciate getting on the call, man. I fully respect your grind, and even though I did help you out, bro, it was 100%, 90% all you. You know, you keep pushing, even though you didn't know exactly what was happening, and all of the systems I'm telling you, you had to say against, and I just told you just fucking do it.
No, bro, you told me jump, I say how high, bro. Simple as that. I have full belief in you, bro.
And I appreciate it. It was a pleasure working with you, man.
Yeah, likewise, bro. Likewise.